So I finished my grading and the dirt is all now quite level, and I moved some of those big rocks off to the side. Um, and what I'm going to be trying to do here in this video is stake the forms and also make sure that they are level. So you can see me putting in concrete stakes. I'm the guy in the blue shirt with the nail bags, and my helper's in the dark blue shirt with the red writing. So what we're doing now is we got the level. We're trying to make sure it's going to be level and smooth, and we're putting in the concrete stakes. And as we do that, we're also using little rocks and things underneath of the wood forms to just make sure that those are going to be level and smooth. You can see we're lifting it up right there, trying to find the perfect size rock to get it just perfectly even and level. Then once we have it level, we put the concrete stake in and we nail the concrete stake into the wood to hold it in place. The level, as you see, is a 4-foot level. It makes it a lot easier to do this sort of thing. I use some line levels as well in those strings you see on the outside, but I use that in the grading process to make sure it was going to be level and smooth. Getting these concrete stakes in was very difficult, even with a 10-pound sledgehammer, because there's so many rocks in my soil. My property was actually almost sold as a gravel quarry, if you can believe that. But the gravel quarry discovered there was clay 20 feet down, and didn't want to deal with the clay. So yeah, so it's very, very rocky ground. So I'm moving the stakes around quite a bit, trying to find the perfect spots. And when I do, then I'll put a nail in to hold the stake in. I'm also using some screws. And right now what we're doing, going back and forth with the tape measure, is we want to make sure that the concrete form is perfectly square. And so if the measurements from diagonal to that diagonal are both exactly the same, then you know your concrete form is square. And you're good to go. Obviously, just putting nails on the ends of this and making a box, the box could be slanted one way or another. So you want to do the diagonal to diagonal measurement, which tells you that it is perfectly square. We're going to continue going around here with the level, lifting up, sticking rocks under the wood forms, and then nailing it and hammering in concrete stakes, and then nailing them to the wood forms or screwing them. Something that you won't see here in this video, but I did following, is I put in additional backup strength concrete stakes that are then attached to 2x4s that then attach to the forms. So at present, there's actually, on each side, there's 3 2x4s that are screwed into the concrete forms and then screwed into concrete stakes about 2 feet behind it. You'll see me put in some of those, and I'll show you those in just a second. Construction is always a much longer process than I expect. I'm a computer programmer and website designer by trade, and so usually once I figure out a problem, it's fixed everywhere. Whereas when you're working in the physical real world, you might have the solution, but then you have to actually go around and spend quite a bit of time doing it. Even if you know what you're doing, it takes hours to get something done. So now I'm bringing out some 2x4s, and we're going to attach these 2x4s, screw them onto the wood forms, and then behind the 2x4, we're going to hammer in a concrete stake and then screw the concrete stake to the form, and that'll help hold it. We can avoid pushing and pulling. Something else we did is once we got all these 2x4s attached to the forms. We came back and we added rocks and dirt to the outside bottoms of the form to prevent concrete from leaking out the sides and to provide additional strength to the forms to stay in place. We're planning to do our pour in about 3 days, and I still need to do a little more stuff. I'll have in my next video, I do the internal grading. I add gravel into the center and then grade that out. So I'll be showing that to you next as well. And here you can see us putting that 2x4 in, screwing it to the top of the form, hammering a concrete stake in behind it, and then we screw that on. On that one, I think we just put rocks. We actually went back later and added a concrete stake and screwed it in. Yeah, so that's about it for this video. The next one will show adding the gravel to the center and how we